I think we're off, right? Are we off? Yeah. Okay. I think it's safe to say that we're off. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. Friday, December 20th, AD 2024. We're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show, everybody. I do have some fun stuff to share with you. Some beautiful stuff to share with you. Your calls to get to, your super chats. It is Fob Friday, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Is this ill-advised to play two songs for this? I don't know. Yeah, it suddenly cut out. Let me just check here. There, hold on. Complicated. It was just working. Test. Oh, yeah, it's supposedly going, but I just don't hear it. Oh, no, wait, what do I have? It's muted. Oh, yeah, I have the wrong one unmuted. Oh, Lord. Yeah, now it's working. Yeah, it's totally working. I just unmuted the wrong thing. The Wheeler Sisters, Lujo Records. Don Oíche.
I sing of a night in Bethlehem, a night as bright as dawn. I sing of that night in Bethlehem, the night the Word was born. The skies are glowing gaily, the earth in white is dressed. See Jesus in the cradle, drink deep in his mother's breast. And there on a lonely hillside, the shepherds bow in fear when the heavens open brightly and God's message rings out clear. Glory now to the Father in all the heavens high, and peace to his friends on earth below, is all the angels cry.
It's kind of nice. You're no DJ, Hake. Hake's yoga music. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Nick.
I sing of a night in Bethlehem, a night as bright as dawn. I sing of a night in Bethlehem, the night the Word was born. The skies are glowing daily, the earth in white is dressed. See Jesus
Well, guys, that was a beautiful Christmas song, in my opinion. Some people in there in the chat hating. I understand it. I understand. I don't blame you. But that was the Wheeler sisters. Dawn, let me pull it up for you guys, because I think that this is nice, in my opinion. Dawn, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's a mess. Dawn Oíche. I don't know how to pronounce you Irish people's language, but it's that. Dawn Oíche Úd mBeithil. And it's a Christmas song. And it's an Irish language Christmas song, but they sang it in English. Very nice. Unclear origin. And a lot of people sing it. That may not be your favorite version, but it's a really nice track. So shout out to Lujo Records. And don't try, Hake. Dawn Oíche Úd mBeithil. You don't pronounce the CH, and you don't pronounce the TH that heavily. But it's very nice. Thank you for bearing with me through that. Let me get to a call or two, guys. It is a loosey-goosey Friday show. I wanted to... Oops. No world. Oh, Lord. It is a loosey-goosey Friday show, everybody. It's horrible. Let me get to RIGO in Texas. RIGO, are you... hold on, RIGO. Hold on. That's ridiculous. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Nice. Good to hear from you.
Hey, you know how Jesse Lee Peterson, how he says that there's no such thing as racism, sexism, communism, or all the other isms?
No.
Oh, me neither. Anyways.
I've only ever heard him say there's no such thing as racism, sexism, homophobiaism, Islamophobism, anti-Semitism, deadbeat dadism, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard him say there's no such thing as communism.
Oh. Well, sorry. Well, I was just throwing that word out for as an example, but.
Oh yeah, bad example.
Recently. Recently. I've been doing a little bit of research on who invented the words of, like, racism, sexism, or feminism, and I find out that they're all some of the same people. Like they're the. I don't know if I could say this because you're streaming on YouTube, but I noticed that it's from the Jewish people.
The people of words.
Yeah.
Right. It would make sense that it would come from them because they're the ones who come up with words. I mean, there's among the people, the intellectuals, the high verbal IQ people. And the devil uses words and emotions. So, yeah, it would make sense that a lot of them would have been the ones who would definitely promote it.
Yeah, some of the people who done that, and some of the Jews that moved to America, you see that. I also did a little bit of research of who created the LGBTQ movement. They were all Jewish, and I see all the feminism movement.
Where did you hear that they were all Jewish from who started the LGBTIQ movement?
It's a website called JewishContributions.com, and it basically researches like who research or like who was behind whatever who and like which Jewish.
And is it a pro-Jewish website or an anti-Jewish website? Because it's probably hard to find the difference whether they think that that's a good thing or they think that that's a bad thing. Is it a pro-Jewish website, Jewish Contributions? Because that sounds positive. But the LGBT
Yeah.
movement is not positive. But
I
in their
mean-
mind, it is.
I mean, I think it's neither. I think it's neither because what this website is doing is it's just observing on which group of people is behind who. Like all Jewish people, like they're all behind. Like the person who owns Tinder is Jewish, Bumble Jewish, Grindr, right? And something I noticed.
Yeah.
And I find it pretty weird that, like, you know, I look at the United States and, like, you know, they're all divided by feminism, all right? They're all divided by sexism and by homosexuals. They're all divided by that.
We the people are being divided by all that mess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think all that it traces back to one person or to like one group of people. That makes sense.
Sort of, yeah. In terms of leadership, in terms of following dumb ideas, following persuasive people or influential people, there's different roles in life, and in evil and in good. There are leaders of evil and there are followers of evil, and shame on both. Blind leaders of the blind.
Yeah, and even their religion, it even allows it. The Jewish Talmud, Sanhedrin 54b, or like some like their Jewish Talmud, it allows like to do all these things because we're all non-believers. You know what goy is, or goyim?
That means we're non-Jewish people.
Yeah, we're non-Jewish people. We're not. And Baba Kama 113a.
These are books from the Talmud.
Yes.
Talmud.
Yeah, the Talmud. it says Jews may use lies to circumvent a goy or Gentile.
Sounds just like the taqiyya.
Yeah, and it says
which is the Muslim version. I mean, but how'd you get into the reading the Talmud?
Well, I got into it like through research, and well, it's not that I'm not reading the Talmud right now. I just saw like an image, and it states these sources, and it's pretty crazy. I found like connecting these Jewish behaviors to this Talmud.
But how did you get into it? How did you get into it? Yeah.
I was on Telegram, and they sent me this folder of like what the Jews contributed, and it opened my eyes, dude. I'm like, what? Like, I'm like mind blown.
Right.
And I did a little bit more and more research. I went to Jewish contributions. I went to everywhere. Like scrolled on Twitter, and it was crazy.
And what is the Talmud or Talmud?
I think it's like the Jewish Bible or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the. I don't know either. I have heard that it's one of the texts, extra biblical texts that they're into.
Yeah.
But I rarely hear Jews reference the Talmud.
Yeah, no, they I guess they like to keep secret about their beliefs.
Or they're just not that into it. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
It's kind of wise to keep some of your beliefs to yourself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something. I've heard that Jewish people don't tend to proselytize Judaism, but they don't tend to like win converts to Judaism.
Yeah, no,
but the ones who are promoting this stuff, they tend to promote what they're about, meaning the feminism, sexism. Yeah. Sometimes they're conservatism. So they do proselytize into their worldly philosophies, but just not their religious stuff.
I don't know. I mean, I think their worldly philosophies are...
A lot of them are not even really religious. A lot of them are atheists. They're not the ones who are promoting feminism, for example. I don't even think they're Talmudic Jews. They're atheists who are just raised in this mama culture.
But even then,
yeah.
But even then, Hake, it's like it's like the worldly philosophies it's really destructive on the United States. I mean, you see that in
There's
most
what?
cities, New York. It's that the worldly philosophies, it's really destructive, and the United States is a big example of that. Even in Mexico,
Right.
their president got elected after all 37 candidates were assassinated.
And you
I find
blame the Jews for that? Because she's Jewish, and so you blame
Nope.
the Jews for the Mexicans killing each other?
Well, not necessarily. It's just I find like there's like a suspicion, you know, something's wrong. It's
Don't
like,
listen to
it's like-
suspicion. Don't go with suspicion though, because
Okay,
that'll
okay.
make you arrive at conclusions that aren't real.
right?
Yeah, I mean, Jews tend to be smart in terms of handling their money, protecting their own lives, and stuff like that. So I don't know if she was smart or lucky or protected by some people or what. But I wouldn't get into speculation or arrive at some conclusion or even really be suspicious about it. She's a dumb, apparently feminist because she's trying to be a leader, liberal, Jewish Mexican woman.
I mean,
Claudia
sure,
Scheinbaum.
yeah,
But I wouldn't go. I think you're getting too deeply into it because you were shocked by the information that you came across. And I
Yeah.
understand being shocked by the information and getting really into it. But you want to stay even so that you can have clear minds about it. It's in the world, different people fall into different evil roles. And you'll start blaming the Jews for something that the whites are doing, or blaming the Jews for something that the blacks are doing, or blaming the Jews for everything when it doesn't make sense to live like that or to think like that.
right. I get it.
Evil is bigger than just the Jews.
Right.
It includes them, but it's way bigger than them. The people who are Jew blamers or into that aren't looking at themselves.
Right.
Yeah,
That's right. That's something to keep in mind.
for sure.
I agree with that. I agree that you can't just blame everything off of Jews. You can't do that. But you know, with all this research, it seems that they're just trying to destroy you white people. They hate you white people. Did you know that?
I mean, people tend to hate white people. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I don't know.
When whites are weak, that incites hatred. When whites are strong, that brings out the hatred. You know, like whites like lame-o whites, like the Rhino Republicans and the male Democrat whites. There's a few of them, a handful, but the Rhino Republicans are the whites, and the weak, nicey nice Christians, or the weak Bible thumper Christians who are just angry. That incites hatred. They invite, because they're putting out evil. They're not truly good, and so they bring hatred on themselves. And then there's the whites who are of good, Trump, people like that. And he gets way more hatred than all of them, but he can handle it. And he returns love to them, but they hate him.
Well,
That's the way to win.
that is the way to win. But I'm not saying this just to incite hatred on the Jews. I think what I'm doing right now, I'm just bringing light on what they're doing, and I think it's all hateful. They're like inciting hatred within us, right? Within the people of the United States, right? Does that make sense?
They can't really do that if there's not already hatred in us, though.
Could they amplify it in a way?
They can promote it, which is what they're doing. It's like what Obama did. He promoted it, but you can't blame Obama for the hatred and racial division. He just exploited what was there. And same thing with the Jews that are doing that. They are exploiting. It's a very communist thing to go and exploit the natural fissures of society and divide and conquer. So that's what they're doing. They're exploiting the division.
And you know how they're doing it. They're doing it through feminism. They're doing it through the LGBTQ movement. You see feminism, men and women, they're divided. All right, they're already fighting each other.
Yeah.
Women are equal. They're worshiping them.
I know.
You see through the LGBTQ movement, they're dividing the man itself. They're making the man weaker. They're making
But they're not making the men weaker. They're encouraging the men's in their weakness.
Yeah, they're encouraging the men to be weak.
Right. But whose fault is it that the men are following that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess.
I get that the whites want to say, and they're right about it, that from childhood the children are brainwashed into this, and the parents from childhood were brainwashed into this. But welcome to the evil world. Hello. Yeah. It's like they're being shocked at the evil world, and they want to blame a people when they don't realize that the spirit in them is evil in themselves.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess we all. I guess the true evil, besides the Jewish people, is truly Satan, and we have to overcome him. He's a force of nature. He disguises himself as people or thoughts and emotions, and
right. How old are you, RIGO?
I'm now 16.
Wow, nice. So you're gonna be a knowledgeable kid. So, young man, you're a young man actually, not a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. And are you Mexican or American?
I'm Mexican.
And were you born in Mexico or were you born in America?
Born in America.
Nice. So you're an anchor baby, like it. Were your parents?
Yep.
Were your parents naturalized citizens before you were born?
Honestly,
you don't have to
answer
that. You don't have to answer that. What'd you say?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice. Don't ask.
Yeah.
You may be grandfathered into the birthright citizenship. So you can be an American, and you can serve on Nick Fuentes' administration, and put in a good word for me. Get me out of the gulag, because before Nick Fuentes gets in office, we're all going to go to the gulag, and you might be able to get me out.
All right.
So make sure you lay low, play it smart like the Jews, play it close to the chest, and learn from them. Learn from how
they do.
Yeah, go ahead.
How they do these things, how they do the things.
Well, you want to be smart in not showing your power level, if you will.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know that phrase? Have you heard that phrase before?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, the praise, power level?
Power level, yeah.
No, over 9,000?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, no.
You may be saying something that I don't know about.
Yeah.
But anyway, like you want to be friendly with the Jews.
No, of course.
And get along with them as much as you can. Don't be antagonized. Don't feel a false need to antagonize and confront them.
Yeah, no. I'm not trying to antagonize.
As the oppressor.
Yeah, I'm not trying to antagonize. I'm just like bringing like stuff up in light, and something like something's not right, And
of course.
I'm trying to get to the bottom. I'm like, well,
it's very interesting to me how different cultures fall into different symptoms, I guess we'll call them. For example, how the blacks get into all this violence and degeneracy and loud, and how the whites get into what the whites are into, how the Jews get into what the Jews are into, and how, for example, one thing that I notice about Jewish people is they're intellectual. They don't see this. They don't see or value necessarily a simple man of truth. That's why a lot of them rejected Jesus. That's why a lot of them reject Trump. They just don't see that simple man stuff. Some of them really do and really appreciate it. Or they come around later. Some of them became his disciples, right? Jesus' disciples. And some of them are close to Trump, and some of them are snakes, and some of them may be solid. Some of them really love JLP, and some of them hate and can't and just look down on JLP. So you want to be able to get along with people as far as it depends on you. Obviously, don't do something that you shouldn't be doing, or don't agree to something that you shouldn't agree to, but let them be evil or be right. And then that way you can be a light. You can know what they're doing. You can know the facts about what they're doing, and in some places point it out, and in other times refrain from pointing it out, because sometimes it's good to keep your mouth shut.
Do you think that in this moment I talked about should I have kept my mouth shut the whole time?
No, those are innocent questions that feel funny to people because it's like a taboo topic. And then and then a lot of the Jew blamers or Jew critics or people who are all into it, they know that it's a taboo topic. So they start reading into my reaction to it, and they start reading into other people's reaction to it, and then they try to predict, oh, you're shut it down. Oy vey, shut it down type stuff. So I don't think you didn't say anything wrong. You said what you've learned.
Right.
And you're trying to bring a light to it.
Yes.
Light is more than facts, though. Sometimes facts are not necessarily light. Facts are not necessarily truth. Because truth is the whole picture. And so facts, you may be bringing to light a portion of the picture, but it could lead people into getting way too into that portion and ignore the whole rest of it, including their own evil within.
Yeah, I think I do have my own evil within.
Of course, I mean everybody does it. Just keep your wits about you.
All right.
You doing JLP's silent prayer?
Yeah, I did the silent prayer yesterday, but I'm not really, dude. I'm so bad at consistency. So
yeah. I
mean, I still do the silent prayer here or there, but I'm not really consistent. That's something I struggle with. I know that I have to stay with it, but you know, I think if I do stay with it, I'll get consistent. I think I've been doing the silent prayer like wrong, because when I would do silent prayers, it's like I'm like forcing out the thoughts. I'm bringing out the thoughts. I'm like forcing them out to come out, so I can just see and observe them. And I've been doing it wrong, and it was unfulfilling, so I stopped doing it.
Okay.
And I think this week I did a silent prayer, and I didn't force out any thoughts, and I didn't force them out. I let them come by, and you know, just the way how Jesse Pearson, just the way how I did the way how he described, you know.
Yeah.
Just let them come out, and it was more fulfilling. And I feel like I want to do it more again.
Cool, man. Yeah, do what you see to do. Do what you want. Do what you know is right. With regard to that, and and when you're not consistent about it, do you judge yourself for being inconsistent?
No, not really.
Because you said you struggle with it.
Yeah, I see that when I'm not doing silent prayer.
Yeah.
I'll see that I'm so distracted. I'm like so in the future or in the past. Like I'm not in the present right now. Like I feel like I'm out of touch with reality when I'm not doing silent prayer.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm judging myself. I think I'm just seeing what happens without the silent prayer.
Okay, that's fair. Nice. Yeah, because you don't want to get into looking down on yourself for being inconsistent about it. Because that's just getting sinking deeper into the lack of awareness. Because you're not supposed to be judging yourself over life. You're supposed to just come back to reality.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's say you wake up late and don't pray, or whatever. You don't pray in the morning or whatever. And then you remember later, I didn't do it. Or you know, as you're doing it, I'm not doing it. I didn't do it. The Bible says, the Bible does. What are you going to do? Go ahead.
I'll just say to myself, I'll do it when I go to sleep, and then I'll just sleep.
Oh, that's what you do?
Go sleep.
Oh, so you say to yourself,
no,
that's what
no,
I'm
no.
going to do, and then you end up going to sleep instead of praying first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
see, that's the wrong way to do it. No, I think the right way to do it is not to tell yourself what you're going to do. You might say, oh, if the Bible says don't even do that. It says you can say, if it's the Lord's will, I will do this or that. But what you want to do is pray right then and there. Like the Bible says, pray without ceasing. So just start praying where you are without doing the, maybe you can't close your eyes or sit down or do that rigmarole, but at least you can come back to reality.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's the way I thought it. In order to do a silent prayer, you must sit down. You must have your palms open, sit down or you're at school.
I think it's important to do that too, but you want to do it, be present always, It says pray in the Bible, it says pray without ceasing. And I think that'll get you closer to praying without ceasing by coming back to reality, rather than getting into guilt and planning and, oh, darn, regret or whatever. Vain plans for praying in the future.
Right.
Because Jesus frequently would go off by himself very early in the morning while it was still dark and pray alone. So it's good to do that too, definitely. You definitely want to do that frequently.
All right. You know, so you're saying that, all right, let's say I'm doing a school assignment.
Yeah.
Right. The way I would pray is I just start seeing the thoughts while I'm doing the schoolwork, or let's say I'm working out. Would I be praying by observing the thoughts while working out? I'm observing, all right, I should look at my phone or do some of this because I don't want to miss out on something. I feel alone.
Yeah.
Would that be a way of praying?
It would be. I think it would be a way of praying to refrain from looking at the phone to distract yourself, and to refrain from some of those temptations of entertainment and distraction, and pay attention to your body as you're working out. It's the best. It's also a great way to avoid injury too, because you're listening to your body. By the way, when you're older, especially.
Oh yeah, my workout routine. I have I have my notes on my phone.
Okay.
Where I write down the workout, what to do, and I copy that and I make a modification of that, where it focuses on a different part of my body, so that way one part doesn't have to get sore.
Nice.
Yeah. It's pretty good. All is well. I'm starting to lose my fat, my belly fat now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's cool. I got to do that.
Yeah.
You starting to get ripped?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I'm showing muscle a little bit, but.
Fair enough. Me too. Of course, yeah. I got some years on you, some decades on you. So it's a little late. I'm a late bloomer, we'll call it. Nice. Well, that's cool, man. It's great. I like talking with you, Rigo in Texas. Yeah. Keep it up.
Hey, man. You as well, man.
All right. Merry Christmas.
See you later.
All right. Bye.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, man. Take care. Jaden in California on the line over here. Jaden, thank you for calling and holding, man. How you doing?
Hake news.
Hey.
Dude, Rigo, that Rigo kid was like how I was when I was 16, like dead on, bro.
Oh, really? You were a researcher?
I was
and working out?
JLP, yeah, working out. Rigo, just some advice for the gym. I used to do that like workout, that girly workout where they would make you do three, like it would just be like 100 workouts, like do 3 sets. Bro, trust me, you only need 3 workouts a session. Make sure they're all compound and 5 times 5. So 5 reps, 5 sets, and make the weights heavy as frick, bro. And you should be out of the gym in 40 minutes. If you're taking longer than 40 minutes, you're wasting your time. We're not here to get a pump. We're here to rip muscle to, get bigger. You know what I mean?
Interesting, man. And by compound, that means like An example.
Squat, bench, the dips, pull-ups with weighted, once you get to a certain point, weighted, and this shoulder press.
Oh,
Those
okay.
are the main ones.
Those count as compound.
Right.
All of
Don't
those.
do like bicep curl. And that's for like ego, bro.
Oh, okay. Bicep curls, those are ego, and it's not compound because it's not working multiple different muscle groups at once.
Yeah, bicep curl is good for bodybuilders because they want to look big, get blood flowing through. But if you want to like rip the muscle in order to get more of it later, you just got to do compound. That like work out like a Spartan, right? Do compound and just real quick, heavy exercises.
How are you going to hit your biceps other than, you hit them a little bit with like pull-ups, but other than what you just described, how else are you going to hit them?
Hake, I'm telling you, if you do pull-ups right, you'll be hitting your biceps.
Okay.
The pull-ups, you do them in not like where you have a wide grip, you do them like very close, like you're, like imagine just putting two fists in front of your face right now. And then that's how you would do it.
Facing out or facing in?
The
chin?
It's like make two parallel lines of fists right next to your face.
Oh, neutral position.
Yeah, going upwards.
They say that's the best way. Okay. Yeah, going upwards, but your thumb and forefinger are like going into you like your whole like binoculars, that type of thing.
Let me see. I've never watched the video. I gotta.
Like this?
Yeah. Let me see.
You're probably like 20, 30 seconds behind.
Let's see.
Facing kind of like a hammer.
Like that, but make them more straight. Make them more like straighter. You have them like diagonally out. Just make them like straight.
Okay. All right. Cool. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, like my arms go straight up and down.
The question I had was
okay.
Wait, hold on.
Workout tips with Jaden. Are you ripped?
Check there's no one listening. I'm as ripped as a 17-year-old can be, bro.
Nice, man. That's cool.
But I'm about to be 18 in about 2 days.
I was a really skinny, but I was pretty lean and fit as a 17-year-old.
Yep. I can bench about 225.
Oh, okay, right on.
Back. But yeah, basically I was thinking when I turn 18, because I want to make sure I have a stable job for the future. Just to, do what JLP says, have a job, live your life, and I don't want to get like a minimum wage job forever. So my plan is, and I just want to know your take on this. I join, as soon as I turn 18, I get my ID. I join the military, maybe Army, that's what I'm thinking. And then in the Army, you get free college while you're in the Army. So I can get a medical degree in the Army, and then I can use that when I get out. And I'm going to be like a combat medic in the Army too. So I can use that when I get out to get like an EMT job or a firefighter job, and they get paid like a lot of money, right? So the only downside is obviously I might get killed.
Right.
I've already thought about that. I don't really care if I get killed or not.
What about if there's another downside.
What?
You get maimed. Meaning you live, but you've lost a limb or some function of your body or whatever.
Then I'd get free money for the rest of my life.
Okay, but are you okay with not having a fully functioning body? So let's say.
Well, if God makes me do it, He did it for a reason, right? Some lesson to be learned.
Oh, but I wouldn't necessarily attribute it to God. But I'm just saying.
God allows everything to happen, though, doesn't He?
He does allow you to make a mess of your life. Not that this is a mess of your life. I'm not saying that. But He lets people he lets people make a mess of their lives. But I don't think that they should necessarily say it's God's plan. But let's say
most people don't get injured statistically in the
that's
military,
true, and
when they're active duty.
And you have an incoming good president, in my opinion, who is unlikely to bring us into new wars. He's more likely than were it another president to end these evil wars. So you may be okay. Keep your wits about you. If you do decide to go into it, it's funny because I have it written down here. You're joining the Marine Corps, but now
right, because the Marine Corps doesn't have a medic position.
Okay.
So Army has the medic, and that's going to secure me a job later.
Okay, so you want to get into that. it's not a bad route necessarily to take. It's not a bad
Right, and you get
route
free
necessarily.
dental,
What
bro.
was your did you have a question about it, or you just wanted to say your plan?
Well, I wanted to basically get your take on, is this like a good plan or not?
Oh,
But I forgot to mention the other downside is even if I do get a job in the civilian life, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired because I cannot keep my political beliefs to myself or my religious beliefs.
Are you concerned you may get kicked out of the army because of your political beliefs? Because just because Trump is commander in chief doesn't mean that some of his underlings may fire you, and you may not have hit Trump's ear to like put you back in your proper position. So
because the military, you know, they make you angry. Because you know they need you to kill people. They make you angry, but I cannot be. That's not what I'm like going towards, right? So it would be a weird way of navigating that.
Yeah.
But I've met people who come out just straight disciplined. They're not really, you know, too angry. They're just, you know,
right.
Muscular.
I knew a guy, one of my friends, he was a year or two behind me in high school. He went to Iraq. This was early 2000s. And he was a Marine.
Nice.
He was kind of fat when I knew him. And then he was still not skinny, but he did like 30 pull-ups. I don't know if they were full and complete and proper pull-ups, but they had to be decently proper. No, I'm not talking about CrossFit. I'm talking about Marines. But anyway, he came back
he
from
did the CrossFit pull-up.
Maybe. Oh, the butterfly one?
Yeah.
But he came back angry, according to him. He said, I came back from Iraq angry. And he was Mexican. Some people, it's up to you, man.
Why did he come back angry? Did he say?
I didn't really ask him, but I know that there's probably a lot of injustices and foolishness going on. There's probably he was a go-getter, and there may have been some cowards around him. There may have been some murders and killing that he had to do or witnessed or knew about or friends. I don't know, but he came back angry, and that was a war that was. Let's see. I think it was all under Bush. I don't think that he was under Obama. W. Bush, you know. And you know and then people back here, they're lame. People here are lame, and so they have no patience for the lame civilians. You know, a lot of vets.
I've heard that. I heard they come back, they get annoyed, they just rejoin, kill themselves, basically.
Yeah. So I have no strong opinion. And I don't want to influence you for or against. I encourage you to do what you see fit to do.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm getting all the experts. You know, you're an expert. I need the experts' take on this, you know, just to get a fresh perspective.
Are you sure you want that, though? Because sometimes it's best to be quiet and just do what you see to do and not get input. You may ask some questions and tips and things about what it's like and about going and about what to do and what not to do. But whether to do it is not necessarily a question you want to ask. If it's a whether to do it, that may mean when in doubt, don't do it.
Right. I was thinking about that. But at the same time,
yeah.
You might know about this. My thoughts are telling me don't do it. My fear is telling me don't do it. And if the devil's telling me not to do it, I'm going to do it, bro. What the heck? I'm not going to listen to the devil. You know what I mean?
That's not really necessarily the truth, though, because just because the thoughts are giving you fears and different things, right? Or they're trying to. That doesn't mean you do the opposite. That means you do neither thing and let that fear pass and then see if.
But why would the devil give me fear unless he didn't want me to do it? And if the devil doesn't want me to do it, there's a bad reason for it on his part.
But just because the devil gives you fear about doing something doesn't mean that you should do it.
Well, why would he be giving? What's the motive for him to give me that fear?
because there's a risk, there's a higher risk, and so it's just how life works. There's different things. I think you're thinking too much about it. You're in your thoughts about it. He's giving you thoughts to analyze your fears rather than just.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I've had this happen before on a minor scale, like a family gathering. He'll give me fear not to go. I end up going. It ends up being a good time. Nothing bad happens.
Right.
So I'm thinking that might be the same thing here.
It might. But you're thinking. You said you're thinking it might be the same thing here. And the key word is you're thinking.
Hey, they got free dental.
Just take care of your teeth.
My canines go out.
I have had to pay through the nose for my dental stuff. And I was able to afford it. I'm still here. And I want for nothing. So
right,
don't go just for the free dental.
I'm mainly concerned about, in the military, they're going to have you doing a bunch of stuff, especially when you're on duty. You got to go kill people.
Yeah.
I'm worried I won't have that quiet, like just alone time to sit when I'm out there.
You might not
have that or no?
You're going to have to find that quiet within, even in the midst of being busy.
And that's another thing I was thinking. It might be like a way for God to show me that you can still have peace, heaven on earth, even when you're in the middle of battle.
But you intellectually already kind of know that. But do what you want, man. Do what you want. You sound unsure of yourself, and and you sound like you want to justify it to me and to yourself, and you're kind of wishy-washy. Do you want my advice?
I do.
Are you working right now?
No.
Get a job. And get a job, and it it might not be a full time. It might not be a, young men get jobs and they don't necessarily have to stay at that job for longer than a few months. So if in a few months you realize I want to do this, then you put in your 2 weeks notice and go do it.
The thing is, Hake, the jobs around me are little to zero.
Okay,
and I've already applied to most of them, and they haven't, accepted.
Okay. Well,
but the military always accepts.
True. But there are other places you can move to that do have jobs.
I have literally $0.
What?
$0, zero de nada.
Oh, okay, I see.
Maybe I'll get birthday money in 2 days. I don't know.
That's interesting. So, but you don't need that much money to move. Do you have? Okay, so you have no car. Nope. You're out. Are you out of school? You're done with high school?
Yeah.
Cool. And so there's no McDonald's. There's nobody looking for a little help. There's no dishwasher positions. How are you getting by? How are you getting by in life? You don't sound that.
My mom's house.
Oh, you're at your mom's house. Oh, okay.
I'm still a minor technically, so.
Right. But that doesn't mean that you can't move to a place and get a job. What type of jobs? So there's no McDonald's over there? Go in and be a scab at Starbucks. They're on strike right now. They're on strike right now, and
really?
the unions at Starbucks. Maybe not in your area. In Louisiana.
So I walk up in there?
No, not Louisiana.
Give me a job?
Yeah, you walk in there and say, "I want a job."
But the union's gonna be mad at me when they return.
That's okay. You can deal with that.
I don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's only Louisiana, right?
I'm kind of kidding around, but I do encourage you to find some way to make money, whether it is the military or whether it is a job. Just get yourself on your feet and out of your mother's house once you're ready.
For sure.
Yeah.
Then what do you? Okay, So I got another.
Taylor D says Walmart is always hiring. I don't know if there's a Walmart there.
I don't think that, but I can check.
Because you said there's 0, but you haven't checked Walmart.
You're right. I didn't see it on the job thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So you've looked on the internet and not really ridden your bike around.
I don't have a bike.
Oh, man, you are poor.
No, I'm black, bro. I'm a quarter black.
Yeah, 1/4 black. That's plenty.
Oh. Yeah. But about that thing earlier about I can't keep my political and religious.
Oh, yeah.
Myself. I heard you talking about that with RIGO. Are you able to control, your mouth on that?
I don't really have a high temptation to run my mouth usually. So it's not been an issue for me. At one point when I was shocked by the world, I started paying attention and Obama was evil and the gay agenda was running rampant. I started posting on Facebook and stuff, and I wasn't really able to control that because I was all high on an ego trip. And I enjoyed the thrill of arguing with my so-called friends before they blocked me on Facebook. Ooh. And, wearing different hats and shirts and things around them and just being messy and having fun. But, yeah, it hasn't really been an issue for me. Go ahead.
Ever since I was a kid, I was an atheist as a kid.
Okay.
And I would argue with all the Christians. Now I'm a Christian. I argue with all the atheists.
Oh, okay. So that's interesting. You remind me of a caller who called into JLP yesterday. He was a Mormon. He was raised Mormon, and he would judge the Christians because the Christians were phony and not living it. And then he became Christian, and now he's judging the Mormons because the Mormons are weird. And so it sounds like you went from being a judgmental atheist kid to a judgmental Christian young man. Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mormons are based, though. They have a lot of kids. They put men above women. They love America.
Yeah.
Mormons.
They're kind of rhinos, though, if you really look into it. Mitt Romney is Mormon.
They are.
Some of the Mormons have that guilt, that false guilt, because they didn't accept black people for a long time. So they're kind of a mess.
Yeah, I was in it for a few months, the LDS Church, and I asked the missionaries, "You guys vote for Trump?" They're like, "We can't talk about politics in the church very measly." Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever. You don't want to judge them because sometimes there's a time and place for that.
I mean, it's just like it's like a drug. I can't stop, bro. If someone's wrong, I gotta be like, bro, you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're evil.
I get it.
I don't say that, but I say, I say it's smooth. What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Yeah. Well, just watch yourself. Keep watching yourself. By yourself, I mean the self in you, the pride, the judgment in you. The reaction to their judgment, watch. And if you get yourself in trouble, there's other opportunities come along. You can work in the prison chain gang, if it comes to that.
The what?
The chain gang. It used to be that prisoners, criminals, or people falsely imprisoned by the state had to work out digging and pickaxing and wheelbarrowing, and they were all chained together and wearing black and white stripes in a prison uniform, working on the chain gang. And they wanted water, but the water was almost all out, and they all drank from the same water bucket. It was a hard life, I think.
But I would be a wood, though.
A wuss?
'Cause I'm white. Mostly white. Yeah, wood. The ones with the Nazi stuff.
You would be a what? A wood?
If there was any gang that would accept me, it would be the Woods.
Oh, the Woods, as in the P word Woods. That's funny.
What?
The Pecker Woods. Pecker Woods.
It's the white people that...
Right.
Right, yeah.
No, by chain gang, I don't mean prison gang. I mean just a group of guys that the prison guards haul out to go do some slave labor. It's not a prison gang like, oh, we fight amongst ourselves. Yeah. But anyway, man.
See, you never really had to deal with speaking your opinions out loud?
I did a little bit. Sometimes it would be hard for me to speak my opinion. And in some cases, I really didn't need to be. You know, it's kind of like, oh, I had a fear of doing it. That meant I should do it. But that doesn't necessarily mean you should do it just because you have a fear of doing it. It just means that you're lost in your head and having crazy fears and crazy ideas. Not you personally, but me. That's what would happen to me.
I'm definitely crazy. But it doesn't, I mean, it feels like you're just accepting it. It feels like you're just weak if you don't say anything.
But not necessarily the case. Because you don't want to be, have this pride that I don't want to be weak. Because there's a time to be weak.
Don't you and ALP have, you guys talk about, I want to be the strong Christianity, the Donald Trump Christianity.
Right.
I agree with that.
But did you know, have you noticed that sometimes Trump won't say anything? He'll be friendly and kind unexpectedly.
And I think that's because he's selling out to the libs.
Oh.
Because you know how he held the gay flag up and he was like, yeah, I'm for the gays. LGBTs love me.
I taped a Punchy TV episode. And I was sitting with a couple of the other Punchy hosts and some Punchy guests this week. It's going to come out on Monday, I do believe, if Joel is able to get that done. He's the producer. And
black.
Yeah, 30% white though. And
the opposite.
I had come across this video that Frankie in church from church sent to me that it says, "Be quiet when you're disrespected." And being disrespected is different from standing and not saying anything is different from standing up to what's right. Stay quiet after disrespect was this little message. And isn't that more manly and mature to stay quiet after disrespect?
That's completely right, but something inside of me just it irked me when you said that. I'm gonna stay quiet. They're wrong, bro.
They may be wrong, but let the silence teach them, or let them never be taught. The Bible says something like, "Don't correct a fool in his folly."
So then
Sometimes.
I guess it is just ego. It is just me wanting to be well, it's not. It's more like I want to put a wall up anyone who doesn't disagree with me, and I want to make sure I get it out the way immediately. Like, hey, do you agree with me? Okay, you don't? Well, then get out of my way, right? Like, don't be my friend.
Yeah. Oh, well, then you don't want to choose friends like that necessarily. Let God choose your friends. Let God choose your friends, I mean let life bring the friends or have the friends go. Do you know what I mean? Like friends will if they want to hang out and you don't mind them being around, meaning if they want to meet up with you or talk to you or call you up sometimes and you don't mind that, then let them. If you do mind it, be like, no thanks.
But hey, what about the Bible verse? Because when I became a Christian, I started preaching to my coworkers, my family, my schoolmates. I lost all my friends, all of them.
Oh, okay.
But I did it because this Bible verse said, "Do not associate with the unbelievers."
Oh,
you read that?
It may say something like that, but
what does the righteous have to do with the unrighteous? Do not be unequally yoked with non-believers.
But you may be misinterpreting that in a way that the truth didn't mean.
So what do you have you heard that verse?
I've read something to that effect. A lot of people will say that references getting married to an unbeliever.
Well, it doesn't say marriage.
I know, but yoked together suggests that you're kind of tied together.
Right, you do it with a marriage. So if you do it with a marriage, why wouldn't you do it with your friends?
Because you're not yoked to your friends necessarily. You don't want to be. You don't want to hold on to your friends. You don't want to. You don't want to have a clingy feeling within of seeing your friends or not seeing your friends.
So yoked to your wife means that you're clingy to her, like you.
No, yoked means that you're married to her. I mean, that's how they take it. If you're married to your wife, then you are married to her. That means that she's your wife. She's gonna raise your kids if you have kids with her, and you're supposed to lead her. Be the head of her.
I guess you're not having friends with or kids with your friends, so.
Right, like you don't even necessarily even hang out with your friends for years, maybe, but they're still your friends.
Sure.
Or if they want to, whatever. I don't know. But if you're working, then you won't have that much time for your friends, though. Once you get to work, so you won't even have to worry about it. It'll work itself out.
From a heavenly perspective, imagine you're, God, right? Or you're a prophet or something. And you come down and you see people, instead of at every second they can, every precious second, preaching to these people who are lost and telling them they're wrong, they're hanging out with them and just playing, like, I don't know, sports or something with them.
Oh.
Like, that's a waste of time. This life is to get on the ship and leave. It's not that fun.
How do you know?
You agree?
Not necessarily. I don't know about, because that's kind of insane to be in practical.
We're put here for a mission.
Well, yeah, maybe you should be working on your business or working on your life or something rather than playing that much video games. But a little video games here and there with some buddies is not necessarily bad.
But look at Jesus. I mean, I guess he did go to parties.
Yeah.
But that was for a purpose. He had to do miracles there to prove to people. He saw the purpose of what
I doubt that he went in there thinking, I got to do this miracle over here. He was at a party and his mother came to him to ask him for a miracle.
That's just when I read that verse.
Yeah.
I'm not sure off topic. When I read that verse, it just seems beta that Jesus would listen to his mom, but maybe I'm wrong there.
Yeah, you might be right, because he said, "Woman, don't you know it's not my time yet?"
Right, but then he did it.
He did it, but the people didn't necessarily even know. Because somebody said, "Oh, you've saved the best for last," and it doesn't say, "Well, actually, Jesus made this water from wine." Somebody wrote that. Somebody wrote that decades later. So it was a secret.
And that's why he said, "There's not my time, but I'll still do it because you want me to do it. But I'm not going to show everyone."
Well, he didn't say why he did it. He just did it. I don't think he said he didn't say, "I'll do it because you want me to do it." At least it's not written that way. But it sounds like you've attached intellectually onto some of the values that you've learned, and are judging yourself and your friends and your life and even Jesus based on these values that you've learned. But you don't necessarily know them for yourself. You're just relying on the Bible as the authority, but you're lost in interpreting it and interpreting beta and alpha and stuff like that. So you want to calm down, pray without ceasing, take step by step, get a job or join the army or Marines or whatever, maybe even, whatever. There's all kinds of different opportunities for a strapping young man, not lad, to do. You could even be a Calvin Klein model because you're mixed and you're fit. Go get discovered.
No, but like I said, I need the dental. My two front canines stick out.
That's cute. It's a snaggletooth acceptance. Be a snaggletooth acceptance activist.
I don't think it's a snaggletooth.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
It might be.
Well, good luck. Good luck, man. It's fun talking with you. I got to run.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right, you too. Bye. Oh, man, you got me with the click. It's terrible. What you guys think? I'm wearing my The Wonder of Yellowstone t-shirt. It's a weird fit, but hey, maybe I'll grow into it. Yellowstone. I've been to Yellowstone. Is that where Old Faithful is? The geysers? Hake, hang up. My finger is literally hovering over the dislike button, says Jasmine. She told me to stop asking people if they're ripped. Whatever. We're past the top of the hour. The Fallen State is going to be coming up next. Shout out to Diane, Puntho King. I'm live on Punchy TV, punchy.tv/Hake. Nicole over there is oftentimes there. What is up? Games for Rec, Aries 1, Kilo Alpha Tango with the bells instead of lemons. Beta legs, A. Gerta, T-Flying Monkey, Age of Inversion, Old Saucy. Did anybody like the that song that I played? Or did literally everybody think it was weird and judge me for playing it? Which is okay too. The Hake Report, where the inmates run the asylum. Let me check for super chats. I did see one that came in. Let's see here. And then I'll get back to calls and stuff. We're having a loosey-goosey show. Terry bought a coffee. Hi, Hake. I finally got my Knowledge is Poison mug. I ordered it back in October from Teespring, right? What a mess. I look forward to sipping it and absorbing its message. No apostrophe. It, apostrophe S, is it is. But perhaps that was autocorrect. Autocorrect needs some AI in its life. So that I, too, can one day be like Hake. Whomst knows nothing and simply is. Isn't that nice? Thank you, Terry. Thanks for buying it. That's cool. Knowledge is indeed poison. I will have to get a Knowledge is Poison mug and put that up on Printify. So hopefully these are clean. nomothoughts has sometimes been scary to me. Hake, I've been to that pier in your background. The Santa Monica Pier. This one. It's a ball. It's not flat. The Santa Monica Pier in the background. It was 7 years ago. Nice number. I live 5,500 miles away from Los Angeles. Wow. In what direction? What, you lived in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or something? Or in England or something? Or in China? Where is 55,000 miles away from Los Angeles? Doxed. Search for nomothoughts in a 55,000 mile radius from Los Angeles. It's the furthest I've ever been from home. Oh, it's the furthest I've been from home. Too bad. I didn't know about Bond back then. I could have visited. Yeah, 7 years ago. It was a fun time. I might visit someday, though. What's the... Okay, so... Is it 2,000 or 3,000 miles across the United States? Oh, man. Shall I display how I search this totally useless website? Los Angeles to Maine, I guess. That is 3,000 miles away. Okay. So 3,000 miles to go across the United States. 55. Here, come on. Come on. How come it's not pulling up? Oh, no. There we go. Okay, so if that's 3,000 miles, 55,000. He's in Greenland? Doxed. Or maybe he's down in South America over here somewhere? Or maybe he's on these islands. No. That's way more. This is... I don't know. He could be over here. He could be in like... What is this? What is this thing? Oh, I can't see. I can't read that. What does that say? I can't read it. But I don't know if that might be Japan or something. Or Korea. What is this thing? Oh, no, that's Japan. Maybe he's over there. Is Hong Kong down there? Oh, I know what to do. Bill showed me. It's still... Anyway, he could be over there. He could be up in He could be up in... I'm trying to dox nomothoughts. That's terrible. You could be up in Alaska or northern Canada, I suppose, because if you draw a circle, 3,000, and then you add another couple of thirds, could be in Russia, I suppose, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, cool, man. Nice. TMI. Not a Victim says, Hake, the young man should not listen to you because you robbed his destiny. He should join the Marines when the president is bad rather than good. Interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know what you mean by not a victim. Interesting, though. Ronnie from Ohio. Brother Hake, of all the chapters in the Bible, which would you say is the most significant or the most profound? As always, appreciate your opinion on this. Man, I'm not up on my chapters, my biblical chapters. I would say John 3 is pretty cool. You know, based on John 3:16, John 3:17, and other. I like 1 John 3 a lot. 1 John 3 I found to be pretty cool. 1 John 3 says you sin no more. Genesis 1 is pretty good, right? Genesis 1. The Adam and Eve, and I don't know if the murder... Well, I don't know how long... Again, I'm not up on my chapters. I'm not sure what all happens when. But those are some top ones. John 3, 1 John 3, and Genesis 1. Let's go with those. And out of all of them, which would I say is the most significant or profound? Man, speaking as an ignorant person who has read it and read many parts repeatedly, I like different parts of the Corinthians. James, I memorized the whole book of James at one point. NIV. Doesn't even count. Let's do James 1. Because this might be pertinent for the young men. Should we do KJV for you guys? No, let me be the liberal. Whatever. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes scattered abroad. Greeting. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience. I'm saying works rather than worketh, but I'm reading King James, okay? I'm just reading it in American Current English, roughly. But let patience have her perfect work. See, patience is a she. You happy, ladies? That ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of ye lack wisdom, it doesn't even say ye. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask, or her, ask of God, who giveth all men liberally. Wow, God gives liberally wisdom. And upbraideth not. What's upbraid? I'm not sure. That feels like he takes out, but I'm not sure. And it shall be given to him. We'll look that up later, another day maybe. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he who wavers is like the wave of the sea, driven by the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. He won't get wisdom. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted, but the rich in that he is made low. Right? That's right. Don't be down because you're in low places, and don't be up because you're in high places. Because as the flower of the grass, he shall pass away. Whew. For the sun is no sooner risen. Somebody said this on the radio show today. For the sun is no... Who said that on the radio show today? That was a nice call from that black dude. Larry, maybe? It might have been Larry. Or it might have been Larry in the toward the beginning of the third hour, the world is a stage. I think that might have been him. But anyway, for the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it withereth the grass, and the flower thereof falleth, and the grace of the fashion of it perishes. Like a woman's beauty, short-lived. So also the rich man fades away in all of his ways. Blessed or blessed is the man who endures temptation. See there? Endure temptation. For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life which the Lord has promised to them who love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted by God. For God cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. But every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. When the lust is conceived, it brings forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, brings forth death. Isn't that interesting? The lust isn't sin, it brings forth the sin. Isn't that interesting? And then sin brings forth death. Do not err, my brothers, beloved brothers and sisters, I guess. Every good and perfect gift is from above and comes down from the Father of lights. Interesting, huh? Father of lights. With whom there is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Of his own will he begat us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak. Hey, Jaden, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Man's anger does not bring about the righteous life that God requires, is what the NIV says, okay. But the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness, superfluity of naughtiness. Shout out. There's your name. I don't know if he's listening. He calls into Anchor, baby. And receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholds himself. Oh, let me do it this way, so you can kind of see. Watch. Look at this. Oh, you guys can't see. Let's see if it's too bright. You guys can't see. Whatever. Beholdeth himself in the glass, you know, like in the mirror. For he holds himself, look at his natural self, right? And goes his way, and straightway forget what manner of man he was, forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks into the perfect law of liberty, freedom, and continues therein, not being a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. If any man among you seems religious and bridleth not his tongue, tame the tongue, but deceives his own heart, this man's religion is vain. Pure religion and undefiled, true religion, pure religion and undefiled before God and the Father is this, to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world. I probably read the New International Version. True religion that God our Father accepts is this: to look after the orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep yourself from being polluted by the world. So nice, huh? Isn't that a nice one? There, we'll go with James 1, because I'm James, and I'm reading King James. How's that, Ronnie? Thanks, man. That's fun. I hope. Engban Art says, Hake, you are as wise as you are a fellow with good hair. I ask, do you like Slayer? I'm not that familiar with Slayer. I remember when Asmodor was alive, he wanted me to play Slayer, and I played Extol. Extol is/was and like a Norwegian Christian metal band, and they were like a various mixtures of types of metals, and it was fun metal. I liked it. Burial is the album that I like from them. Hake is all puffed up. Stop Bible thumping, Hake. Why is Patience a she? Bald Man says, nice list. Thank you, man, Ronnie. Is Hake rubbing John in John's face now? Hake, you're so basic. Isn't it good to be basic? It's so good to be basic. I imagine. I'm not that basic. I ought to be. I ought to be more basic. Back to basics. I try to play basketball, and I don't have the basics. So I end up, I stink sometimes at basketball because I don't have the basics. In life, you forget stuff. You forget to be present, and you mess up because you forgot the basics. Popcorn, popcorn's thump keg. I listened to your grandparents or somebody's gospel song just yesterday during the women's forum. I was over here. Okay, so it was all right, you know. I mean, it's gospel. I'm not a fan of the repeated and clapping and repetition. I said repeated already. I'm not a fan of that gospel thing, but it was I think it seemed like an okay message. They seem like black Christians, shout out. And I say black Christians because it's like the style, the color, the timbre, the tone of their song. It seemed like they might be kind of caught up, but who am I to judge? That's for them to know. Meaning, people get caught up in, like maybe, like somebody said, oh, Hake is puffed up. Maybe I was caught up in just reading the Bible, and it's not doing any good because it's like you hear it and you don't even live it, but you can just get excited about it. That's not right. And that's the point that Jesse's making when he criticizes the hooping and hollering thing. It's not an attack on the people who do it. It's a, hey, heads up. Pay attention to this. Retro Gospel Music Friday submission for the end of the show today. Keep me in the pathway. And he shares this thing. Thank you, man. I shall check it out. I don't tend to follow through with people's recommendations, but sometimes I might. So I shall consider it, and I shall put it in the suggestion box. Much appreciated, sincerely, Popcorn's Thump Cake. And those are his roots. The black Christian church Southern gospel stuff. Separate the right from the wrong. Keep me in the pathway. Cool. Thanks, man. Something to consider. It's Fob Friday. I don't know, man. But I appreciate your support. And you can see me really partly considering it. But thank you, man. Thank you. Slayer's Christian, maybe. Or one of them is maybe Christian. All right. Where am I? We got to get back to calls. Josh in Houston, Texas, been on hold forever and ever and ever. Amen. How you doing, Josh? Are you there?
What's up, Hank? How are you, sir?
Doing fine.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Josh in Houston. Appreciate hearing from you.
You as well, man. It's been a long time. Man, you have really evolved with this show. Cause I remember I first was debating Earl on your show when you first started.
That's funny. And were you from Houston at that point, or where were you?
Yes.
Okay.
I always been.
Okay, nice. Right on. That's cool. I heard you on JLP. That was a great call.
Oh, man, I'm back. You know, like I say, it's just, you know, when you readjust life, I knew my life was going to change, you know, being a single daddy with all them kids. I knew my life was going to change. I just watched it evolve, and I just watched everything become what it was. I didn't stick to the same routines and procedures. Like, we changed everything. And then I had to show my kids physically a change versus just sitting there and telling them. And yeah, it was a ride. It was a ride. I let them, you know, they observed themselves. Whenever they wanted to cry, they cried. I cried with them, but we observed. But it was my daughter that came to me after that, because it was probably maybe 2 weeks after that. And she said, Daddy, you know what? We look at death from a very selfish perspective. And I say, what do you mean? She say, well, when people die of God, you taught us that when God tells us to go to heaven, we go to heaven with God. So why would we be sad about God calling mommy to heaven? I say, yeah, you're actually right. I say, you're actually right, because we look at it from a selfish perspective.
That's
and
so true.
Like Jesse said, it's the memories that we have. We gonna miss the person. We want to see the person. If God say, hey, I need you to come do something else, you serve your purpose, come on up here with me, or whatever the plan is, who am I to say, no, I need her down here? You know, that's not my place. So I never questioned God during it, and I went with the flow, and he just evolved for what was next. And it's incredible when you don't have a plan and you actually really allow God to do things in your life. It really works out, because you'll never fail, and that's why I live heaven on earth, because my day go how it's gonna go.
That's cool, man. Right on. It sounds a lot of times kids know reality, and it's just simple, because reality is pretty simple. So that's cool.
But a lot of times adults block them out because they say, oh, they're just a kid. That's how my mom and them used to do me.
Yeah.
But if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not stressed or worried about bills or being influenced by the world yet. I'm from a kid's perspective. That's why I keep my kids in a kid's perspective, because they give me insight as well, because they haven't been tainted by the world. So certain things they'll get and they'll say, and I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I never shut them out. But they are a key beacon to that, and a lot of parents lose sight of that, and they just shun the kid away. Then next thing you know, they're being raised by the tablet, the school, or the bad influences that they complain about, but they're not doing anything to change.
Yeah. Right on, man. I'm glad that you're there for them.
Oh, yes. I love it. But with your cat, that Caitlin Clark thing, man, when I was listening to you say that the other day on your show, I wanted to call in so bad, but I was at the school doing a PTO meeting. Man, how are you going to be bullied into claiming, when everybody comes into the NBA, you never see a black NBA player uplift a white player.
That's true.
Never.
Yeah.
You come in and you represent the race you are. If a Russian basketball player come in, they're not going to come in and uplift American player. I'm from Russia. I'm representing my country.
Yeah.
You a whole extra Brady Bunch white woman sitting up here talking about uplifting black. They get uplifted enough. She's supposed to represent her race.
That's so true.
She's there to represent her race, the college she came from, the neighborhood she came from, her parents. And if you want to look at skin color, what you shouldn't look at skin color. You should just be a player. If you want to look at skin color, then represent your own skin color.
That's so true, man. And honestly, I would be surprised if Caitlin Clark even thinks in terms of white women and white people. I really doubt it. So I wonder whether she's in her younger childlike days, if she questioned why she would uplift blacks if she never really thought about uplifting whites. It's a dumb thing to be into. You represent yourself, honestly. You represent yourself as an individual. And if you want to be like into the white thing or into the black thing, that's fair. It's fine to do that. I don't really have a problem with it. But you're right. The blacks are already uplifted. They're subsidized. The black women are subsidized by the NBA. And I heard that the NBA is struggling too, by the way. And so what makes her think that we need to uplift and promote the fact that we all know that black women are dominant in the WNBA, but yet the WNBA is like basically she's at the top of the dung pile.
Right. I mean, the WNBA, the face of the WNBA is pretty much black and mixed women. There's no white woman sitting up there in front of these covers and that, and then she gets in here and then gets bullied. See, the one thing about her, I've watched her in college, and her class really did make women's sports interesting to where you actually watch. And I was riding with her because she actually stood up for herself. She actually, she wasn't going to let them black girls bully her like that. Then all of a sudden now, she done caved in. Like, she was talking crap. Like, she was doing stuff. Like, she stood up for herself. And I said, man, look at this woman. Look at her.
Yeah.
And sure enough, look at her now. Now she's sitting here wearing a pantsuit talking about giving these speeches talking about how black basketball players are great. We know that already. We trying to see you. You need to put us in the highlights. Like, that doesn't make sense whatsoever. And they done made her say that.
That's terrible, man. I felt I honestly predicted it. And I joked around saying she's still a queen, and I might have cut her too much slack, but she's dumb. If she's 22, I cut her slack for that being young and in that world. Because, when you're an actor in Hollywood, you're surrounded by gays and Jewish people, liberals and women and male feminists. So, you're surrounded in that world and you're in a bubble. And so it would be understandable if you would fall into that by peer pressure because people are weak. So you cut people slack for being weak, but you realize they're wrong and they're cowards. And she is weak and wrong and a coward, I think, and a kiss up. But
hopefully she'll shake out of it because the way she was before, it's just a matter of time before you get tired of wearing this jacket. If you wear extra large and you can squeeze into a medium, you can only wear that medium for so long to where you need to breathe.
Yeah.
So she's going to have to breathe again, and that's what we waiting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully she grows up and snaps out of it. I don't have high hopes, but I definitely wish her well. I do appreciate one thing was that she was generally kind of quiet and not making statements. That's what we used to like about Taylor Swift. Well, I don't know about you, but I sometimes sort of liked that about Taylor Swift. Was she just...
I love Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she was just quiet.
In the sauce. So she opened her mouth. I said that. I thought you open your mouth and ruin it for all of us. Everybody or not cat ladies that listen to you and like it. And I'm like, man. And so it puts me in a bad situation, but I can't judge them based on their political views and shame them, but they shame me for the views that I have. So it's like I will not fall into the trap. But yeah, I'll be like, close your mouth. Just close your mouth.
Right. So true. Terrible. And it's
just like with the Jews too. How everybody done flipped this whole thing on the Jews, and this has been recent. And I pay attention to culture, politics. I pay attention. The Jews were in a group with the white men, and then all of a sudden now, even the Jews have separated from the whites and said, "I'm not white, those are the bad guys because they push that whole the white man. I watched this in urban community.
Yeah.
They push the white man. When the black people that you talking to see a Jew, they don't see a Jew or a white man. They consider him a white man.
Right.
That's why the Jews start getting beat up on, and they were like, well, you preaching the white man is the problem, and they start attacking the Jews too.
Yeah.
With the whites and saying y'all white too, but then they backed up and backtracked and said, no, we're not white, we're Jewish. They're white, and so y'all need to be mad at them, not us.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, that is the craziest thing how they did that, and we're looking at a pockets of Jews, and we judge all Jews on pockets of Jews.
Right. True.
It's crazy.
It is. You know, it's a funny phenomenon where, because blacks, some of the blacks think that they're the black Hebrew Israelites, right? They think they're the real Jews, and so they judge these white Jews as fake Jews, and so they have like double trouble because they're white, and a lot of blacks hate whites, and then they're Jewish, and so a lot of blacks are hating Jews and hating the white Jews and calling them fake. And so it's a big mess.
Right, and then the crazy part about it is, if you, like I tell them all the time, okay, I'm not going to give you any of my opinion. Let's go down your path out of your book. If you are the chosen people in every book across history, the chosen people were the ones that deceived Jesus and denied Jesus and turned their backs on God.
Right.
So you're sitting here claiming that we were the ones that said screw God back in the day and walked away from God.
Yeah, the black Hebrew Israelites.
Right. Because after they walked away and they kept walking around with that ego and beating on their chest, God said, you know what? He sent Jesus, and he said, you can be of any race, any creed, any religion. You believe in Jesus Christ, that he's my son, then you are of me. That's all you got to do. It don't matter what race you are. It don't matter what color you are. It don't matter. None of that stuff. So by everybody hollering that they're the chosen people, God had to send Jesus because his chosen people is the one that deceived the world and turned their back on Jesus and crucified Jesus. They teamed up with the Pharisees.
Yeah.
That's out of the same book that they read and that they quoting to me.
And it's partly because he was one of their own, kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah. And your own don't accept you, oftentimes, when you come out and be...
You look around the world. Think about what you just said. Look around the world now. Jews hate Jews. Blacks hate blacks.
Yep.
Whites hate whites. Chinese hate Chinese. It's in every single culture, every single race. It's just a matter of what channel you turning on today. So
true. Yeah, that's big time true. I hear about all these people who are infighting on the right and among the whites. There's people who hate Nick Fuentes, and some of Nick Fuentes' followers hate them. And it's just, that's evil. You end up, brothers hate one another, parents hate children, children hate parents. That's the world.
Right. It's all in the mind, and it's just little manipulation. It's that you sit there and play with people, and it's like, I have to think like you, and if I don't think like you, you hate me and want me to die. You want me to end myself. You tell me something bad needs to happen to me because I don't agree with what you're saying.
Right. Yeah. Psychos.
And most of the time it's just regurgitated because people don't even do the research. Like, we used to have to go in the library, get the little library card, write our sources at the bottom. We had to have 2 to 3 sources before we came up with a solution or with an answer. And nowadays, they just... It is nuts. But I can say it is enjoyable watching because at the end of the day, good always prevails. So when you see these people that are so just evil and spiteful and just mean, like, eventually you will conquer. Like, if not, the evil just eats them up and they just sit there and just, people, they tell me all the time, why you so happy? Why you hold it? I don't need you to hold the door. I said, I didn't want to close the door in your face. I was like, I'm just holding the door for you. Just walk through the door and be quiet.
Yeah.
Like, go. You know, it's just, they're twisted in their head with the thoughts. And if you stay present, you won't be caught up in the thought because you can see what's in front of you and just deal with what you got to deal with in front of you.
That's true, man. It's good to hear from you, Josh in Houston,
You
man.
as well, man. I'm back, man. I'm back in routine, man, flowing and going, man. So yeah, I'm back. So that's what I say, man. Merry Christmas. I'm back. I'll be calling back in. I got a bunch of stuff to tell you and update you on these 4.5 years. Oh, MG.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas, Hank, and you have a good one, brother.
All right. You too. Ronnie in Ohio on the line over here. Ronnie, how you doing, man?
My brother Hake, how we doing today?
Doing fine. How about you?
All is well.
Cool.
I bought that coffee asking about your Bible verse because I didn't think I would have time to call in. And I have James 1 as one of my favorites as well. So that was a real good one that you picked out.
Cool.
It was good to kind of revisit that one.
Shout out to my mother for making me learn it when I was homeschooled in the 3rd grade.
3rd grade is when she did introduce you to that?
Yeah. My brother was in 6th grade and I was in 3rd grade, and we were kept home that year in order to, I don't know, get closer to my dad and stuff like that, because he was busy. He felt bad for being busy, and so they homeschooled us. And they weren't really fans of the teachers that we were going to have. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, but James 1, that verses 2 through 4, I always pair that one with Romans 12:12, and it's pretty much like anytime you got hardship, you just gotta remain faithful, remain patient, and then kind of consider it pure joy that you're going through it because it's gonna make you better.
Nice. That's cool. Romans, which one?
Yeah. 12.
Okay.
Romans. That's actually Romans 12:12.
Okay. Right on.
Like
man.
be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and then faithful in prayer.
That's cool. Right on.
Yeah. And then my answer to the question that I asked you about the one that's probably the most profound outside of Romans 12 would be Ecclesiastes 12. I don't know if you ever read through Ecclesiastes?
I have. Everything is meaningless. A chasing after the wind, vanity. Ecclesiastes 12, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, he kind of obviously 1 through 11. He goes through all his lessons and stuff, but 12 he wraps it all up, and it's a lot more condensed, and it's the same message, pretty much saying that everything is meaningless.
Be admonished, making many books there is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. That's a good little verse. You said 12:12. I like this. I referenced this. I didn't know it was Ecclesiastes 12. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Like, imagine you get old, and there's no pleasure to life anymore. So remember God before that comes. Go ahead.
Yeah, he did everything that a lot of people want to do, as far as having all the spoils and the women and wine everywhere. He kind of did all that, and for him to draw the conclusion at the end of his life to say that everything is meaningless, I'm like, all right, if he said it,
yeah,
it's got to be true. And
was Ecclesiastes entirely written by Solomon, are they saying, or was it written by somebody else too, maybe? Or do they even know? The consensus is that the teachings in it came from Solomon. Whether or not he actually wrote it or somebody else wrote it and not wrote it, but like transcribed it or scribed it for him, or even after his death, that's still to be questioned. But Solomon is credited with Proverbs and then Ecclesiastes. And those are probably two of my favorite, especially from the Old Testament. It's pretty cool, man. It's a good message, honestly. It's a good reality check. So
yeah,
right on.
Yeah, and people that struggle to say, I can't read the Bible, it's too long, and I don't know where to start. That's why I kind of broke it down by different chapters to see what messages you can get. And Ecclesiastes 12 and then Romans 12, probably my two favorites.
Fair enough. That's cool.
Yeah, so. I ain't gonna take up no more of your time. I appreciate you answering the question, and Merry Christmas and have a good weekend.
Merry Christmas to you as well, Ronnie in Ohio. Take care.
Yes, sir. You too.
Bye. He said, Romans 12. Shall we read NIV? Therefore, I urge you, in view of God's mercies, this is what JLP's been saying. Offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. Now, this is NIV, okay? Whatever. This is your true and proper worship, your reasonable service. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, as so many of us do. Psh, I shake my head, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renew your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Very cool. Don't think of yourself more highly than you ought. Think of yourself with sober judgment. Nice. Just as each of us has one body with many members, these members do many things. We all have our different roles in life. Nice. The Jews do this, the blacks do that, the whites do this, and the different Christians do this or that. Love must be sincere. Hate what is evil. Cling to what's good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Never be lacking in zeal. Keep your spiritual fervor. Serve in the Lord. Be joyful in hope. Patient in affliction. Faithful in prayer. Serve those who are in need. Practice hospitality. Bless those who persecute you. Bless and do not curse. Rejoice with those who rejoice. Mourn with those who mourn. Live in harmony with one another. Blah, 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 blah. Don't be proud. Be willing to associate with people of low position. Don't be conceited. Jews. Or, whites. Blacks. Homeless. Bums. Don't repay evil for evil. Be careful, do what's right in the eyes of everyone. If it's possible, as far as it depends on you. There's that line that I say, as far as it depends on you. Live at peace with everyone. You see, sometimes you quote the Bible without even realizing. Well, I mean, I knew it. I just didn't know where it was. Don't take revenge. Leave room for God's wrath. It's written, it's mine to avenge. I will repay. On the contrary, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him something to drink. In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head. And I don't know what that means, though. It may explain it there. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. Nice little tip there. Proverbs 25, 21 to 22. If your enemy is hungry, give him food, blah, 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 blah. Let's see what far left Google AI says. They don't even mention the coals. They don't even mention the weirdest part of that passage, heaping burning coals on the guy's head. But maybe that's when somebody doesn't treat you in kind the way you are being evil towards them. It is kind of like a shock or a burn. Worse than if they respond to you. Nice. Shout out to Ronnie, the Bible thumper history buff in Ohio. Very cool. What's up, Aries 1? Oh, yeah, I already read that. And what's up, Rumble crew people? Gregatron, I still haven't seen it. I still haven't seen it come in. He said, did you get your Christmas present yet? He asked that. And I don't know if it's come. You know, they just don't have good service these days. Let's get to one news item or something, shall we? At least one. Oh, you know what I could do? Oh, no, I already addressed this this song basically, right? Shall we cover this song? Haven't done any news. That Night in Bethlehem, that song that I played at the beginning of the show. I sing of a night in Bethlehem, a night as bright as dawn. I sing of that night in Bethlehem, the night the Word was born, Jesus. The skies are glowing gaily. Not, well, the good kind. The earth is in white is dressed. What, snow? See Jesus in the cradle, drink deep in... Oh, I'll skip that part. Drink deep in his mother's breast. And there on a lonely hillside, the shepherds bow down in fear. When the heavens open brightly and God's message rings out so clear. Glory now to the Father in all the heavens high, and peace to his friends on earth below. Friend of God is all the angels cry. That is what the Wheeler sisters sang that I played at the beginning of the show. You may prefer one of these versions, one of these recordings. But whatever. We're at 10 minutes till the end of the show. We do have the Fallen State coming up, and it's going to be kind of an interesting one. An intellectual guy who arrived, I hear. Well, I don't know. Check it out, okay? I don't want to spoil it. The Fallen State TV. Check him out. It will be a good one. Jason D. Hill. Oh, yeah.
Next time on The Fallen State.
Your book is called Letter to God from a Former Atheist.
When I became an atheist, a lot of that was forged in the crucibles of anger. There was a hollowness and there was an emptiness in my soul.
Do you believe in the perfect order of God?
The moral universe, I think, is as fine-tuned and exquisite as is the physical world.
Amazing.
Jesse, we just can't blame it on women. There are a lot of beta males out there.
Oh, yeah, a lot of beta male. You're right. Beta.
Does he sound like Hake when I said, what's that guy's name? Gino? What? No. What's his name? RIGO. RIGO, we can't blame it on Jews. There's a lot of evil whites and blacks out there too. Jesse, we can't blame it on women. There's a lot of evil beta men out there too. But anyway, yes, deal with each one on each one. What do white Americans owe black people? Letters to God from a former atheist. And he's a light-skinned black guy, looks like, Jason D. Hill. Check that out. It's coming up next. And I think I set it to redirect to that. So, it's Fob Friday. I don't know if I should be playing Christmas music. I played a Christmas song at the beginning of the show. So... this is a nice song. It's Fob Friday, music of Chew. Jacky? Jacky Cheung? I think? Or Andy Lau? I'll recognize the voice. Jacky. Just pretend it's Christmas song. Look at that crab. This might be it, guys, that I'll send it to you. Pho is good, but this is not Vietnamese. But the Chinese like pho, too. My Chinese friends do. Are you my cousin? They say we're related to the crabs. Chu song. Isn't it majestic? Car wash. What's up, Reese's Vids? Hey, I think it's Cantonese. Well, thank you guys. Adios, America. I actually have a couple of minutes left because I don't have to be out of here for Joel Friday, because it's Friday and Joel's out anyway. He was out yesterday. He'll be back Monday, or for church. Well, thank you guys. I had fun. Hope you did too. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. American Anchor, baby, happening after the Fallen State. It's Friday. Have a nice Sabbath. And Merry Christmas. We'll see you Monday. And for church. And for Tuesday, too. Bye.